Well, hello, my favorite sign of the zodiac. This is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology, and it's you, Pisces, that make me weak in the knees and make my heart melt. And I'm really lucky to be married to one. You've always been my favorite sign since I was young. My sweet husband was my first love. So I knew love when I was only 13 and 14. He was my first kiss. He taught me how to drive, and he's a sweetheart. And so are my friends, Pisces. I love you guys dearly. And this is your forecast for April 2025. And for each and every sign this month, I've never done an all-sign zodiac for each sign. It's quite time-consuming. But I'm doing it because I just developed a new reading for all of you that is written and delivered to your inbox. So this is only $100. If you want the whole year, it would be $1,200. But each of these readings are customized to your personal birth chart. So come on over to www.3keysastrology and get those. And they make excellent gifts. You very well know, Pisces, because you're sentimental and you're sweet and you're thoughtful and you're emotional, that people love personalized gifts. So these are great gifts to give. Otherwise, the other readings that I have offered on my channel are all listed there. There's a lot about relationships. There are Black Moon Lilith readings, which are quite important. She just moved into Scorpio, and that's hell's fire. She loves being there, and she will cause a lot of trouble. So during this month, because I'm doing these monthlies, I, in this section for April 2025, I'm giving everyone the Sabian symbol of their sun, moon, or rising sign. So how do you know if you qualify to listen to this? If this is yours, most people know their sun signs. But if your moon is in Pisces, this matters. If your rising sign is in Pisces, that matters. And that was that point in time on the day of your birth. So you could be a Taurus with a Pisces rising. And how that happens is the dawn of the day at your birth, the sun would have been in Pisces. So that's all the Pisces rising people. The other criteria are if you have a stellium, which are 3 or more planets in the sign of Pisces, then you've got a lot of Pisces energy. Now, blessed are you because Pisces are in some sweet, sweet waters of fate. And my husband and I both share the same moon. In 2018, the North Node was in Taurus, the sign of our moon. And I knew, as an astrologer, I was going to go through major fated changes. Well, he and I both moved home. And he and I reunited after 41 years. So the moon's nodes, these fated changes, are things that happen beyond, we can't even imagine them sometimes. Like who you fall in love with and the family that you'll have, or the children God give you, or the time of our passing. These are all fated, determined times, designed by God, made for us. So the Sabian symbols are these set of universals or archetypes like Carl Jung's work, where they are standardized typologies of characters in our lives. And we inherently are born with certain traits that put us in certain roles, but we adapt to roles, don't we? So that if, let's say a mother leaves a father, she now takes on the role of man and woman as a single parent. The same thing as a father. Should something happen to the wife, he now mothers the child and fathers the child. So we've got these roles, these archetypal and these universal themes. Such are the Sabian symbols. Now, an astrologer that I loved, who was a psychology professor and had a practice, and a renowned author, also became an astrologer. And he wrote a book on Sabian symbols. His name was Dr. Mark Edmund Jones. And his son is as intelligent as he was. I think he's Scottish. I'm leaning more there than English. But he's an astrologer too. And the Sabian symbol that I'm choosing, though you Pisces, if you know the degree of your sun, the degree of your moon, or the degree of your rising sign, comment below on YouTube and I will tell you what your Sabian symbols are. And then you'll tell me, gee, Lori, this pattern is a theme in my life. Because they're a bit of an enneagram or a bit of a monogram or a bit of a tattoo on our lives, these Sabian symbols. And I chose because an extraordinary thing is happening for you. Not only is a North Node in Pisces, meaning you're going to experience fated changes for the next, it's down to about 17 and a half months now once April starts. But these changes began for you in January. They're fated. But sweetest of all is that you have Venus, the goddess of love and money, on you, Pisces. She's going to be with you for this entire month of April. And that's blessing, and that's plenty, and that's abundance. And that's really good and something that you need, because I am concerned for your health for the month of April. We're going to talk about why, but let's get into the Sabian symbol. I chose the 27th degree of Pisces because on April 1st, this brand new month of the year, which actually is the closing of the first quarter, hard to believe already, time is really flying. That 27 degrees is where Venus is going to be in Pisces. As we speak, while I'm making the video, this is the night before the solar eclipse. I made a solar eclipse video for you, so you can check that out. But Pisces, our Pisces people, Venus will be at the 27 degree of Pisces, so I chose that Sabian symbol. And without further ado, if you are born with this degree, or your rising sign is this degree, or your moon is in this degree, this is a benediction sign. And the Sabian symbol is a harvest moon. And the theme is climax. And it's that this symbol speaks to fullness, ripeness, maturity, a highest point in a cycle that immediately precedes achievement and carries within itself the seeds of new beginnings. The image of a harvest moon alludes to a time for reaping what has been sown, and so it symbolizes the concept of karma. But the deeper significance of this symbol is discovered in that crowning moment when potentiality is transformed into actuality. This emphasis is that the symbol is on effort, and the implication here is that an individual gets out of a thing what he puts into it. On a practical level, this symbol dramatizes the breath-holding moment that anticipates immediate success. And the positive, its highest value, the symbol represents self-fulfillment and accomplishment through creative visualization and hard work. On the negative, it can be immaturity and an ineptitude as a result of an unfortunate lack of opportunity for struggle or any real necessity to have to work hard for a living. So the opportunity, according to the Sabian symbol, is your greatest advantage, Pisces, lies in looking toward the future. Review what you've learned and count your blessings. Now, there is a risk involved with every opportunity, and that is to guard against agonizing over past mistakes or dwelling on what's been lost. Don't worry about what you don't have. The universe is generous when you're willing to use what you've been given. And this is really sweet because Venus, this abundance and prosperity that's coming to you, Pisces, is something that you get shined on you for an entire month. And you had a little bit of a glimpse of this around your birthdays in February. But then Venus slipped back into Aries where she's not so comfortable. And now she's back for the whole month long and shining right on you, Pisces rising. But whether your sun's in the 4th house, the 5th house, the 10th house, the 12th house, Venus is there with you in the sign, in the constellation Pisces. So as we go on with this forecast, I want you to know that I love for you the very first day of the month. I love for you because Venus is at that 27 degree of the harvest full moon, reaping what you've sown, which is a theme for the month that sets the tone. I love the 15th for you, Pisces. I love our Easter Sunday for everybody. But at nighttime, around 9 o'clock at night, so if you have to work at night in a hospital or an emergency room or prisons or just a night shift, wherever it is, whatever you're doing, police work maybe, things get a little tense overnight. They calm down again in the morning. But overall, the more of us will be in church celebrating the resurrection and the new beginning that we're giving and the honor and at the culmination of this 40 days and 40 nights of Lenten. So I hope that you are with people you love, that you're teaching your children about Jesus and celebrating this beautiful, bountiful Easter. So that's a sweet day for you, Pisces. That's the 20th. I love for you the 25th, and I love for you the 28th, which is a new moon in Taurus after 3 p.m. The energy is a little contentious until then, but at 3 p.m., the sun and the moon come together in a new conception. They make love in the sky. In the dark, the night will be dark. And I've told all signs this is a really good day once 3 p.m. hurts to close, if you're able to, and don't have other obligations. Kind of close off the windows of the world and stay with your true love. This having Venus on your rising sign for you, Pisces, means if you're in the right company, you'll be adored and quite loved this month of April. I am a little worried about your health. I have to tell you that we all, after April 19th, you could have a critical health crisis. We've got airborne things. With Pluto and Aquarius, we've got airborne infections that are deadly and recurrences of infections. And unfortunately, this is happening to you, which could indeed require hospitalization or taking you out of your life somehow, some way. So you have to be really, really careful. You have Pluto and Aquarius in your 12th house. And on the 19th of April, Mars moves into Leo, which is the opposing sign. So in your everyday chores and running around, you have to be so, so careful of infected people, about staying away from groups, about keeping your hands clean, about keeping your hands away from your face, about protecting your eyes, because airborne things infect us through our noses, our eyes, and our mouth. And I don't love this. So you really, really have to be careful because it's serious enough to cause infection and inflammation to the point of a hospitalization. Now, for the world at large, this is going to be a very dangerous time for mankind. The 19th, it goes on. We began this Mars-Pluto opposition in November, had it again in January, I think late January, but it's now at its third point. And it's we'll be seeing some ugly news. Mars and Pluto are fire planets, so the wildfires are going to be out of control. And we have a really big theme of homelessness on our planet. Things we should all pay attention to. You know, people get caught up in their lives, especially if they're affluent or abundant, or they're not. Their public service or their divine calling doesn't have everything to do with the common day man. But it's one of the most painful things to lose a home. And we, the viewers on our television stations, are watching the ravages of flooding and fires, which will continue sadly this month. So Aquarius and Leo are most in the crossfires of this energy, but it's happening in your 12th house. The other thing that it can mean for you, Pisces, is, I always sit on my feet, and my feet always go numb, and I know better, but I'm comfortable that way because I've had a lot of back and neck surgery and a broken pelvis to boot. Speaking of hospitalizations, so then the 12th house too is an end-of-life house. And I hope it's not yours, Pisces, because of the infection and inflammation. It can indeed mean the passing on of elderly relatives and people that are in nursing homes and people that are in hospitals. So infection's pretty prominent in your chart. I want you to beware all month long, but especially once the 19th hits. That's on, and when it's hot outside inflammation in the area of breath because it's Aquarius, the bronchial areas, the sinuses, breathing, inspiring. There's an infection there. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And there's been a lot on the planet in conjunction to you. And my husband, who's a Pisces, he and I both got walking pneumonia from an infection at a funeral in early February where people were flying in for this sad event in our lives, and everybody there got sick. People flying in on airports, if that's part of your job, be so very careful, Pisces, because there's a lot going on in the air. And now we have Mercury in retrograde. It'll change by either the 16th or 17th of the month, depending on where you live in the world. But until then, while it's retrograde, that's a recurrence of infection. Mercury rules the lungs. So this is airborne. And if you can, stay away from hospitals and crowded places and public events like concerts where everybody's packed into a crowded and warm room, especially because heat breeds infection. So then, the next thing that we have to look at, so we've got a full moon happening on the 12th and 13th in your 8th house. And that means somehow, some way, for you Pisces, some entity where you really received money, there's an end to that. So you had some kind of benefactor from maybe a retirement plan or some kind of payout from an insurance company or something. And that's been finalized and you're getting the last payment. But the good news is Venus rules that full moon combination at 23 degrees of Leo. And it bounces over to, in your case, it's Libra. 23 degrees of Libra is where the full moon will be on the 12th or 13th. And this bounces over to your house, your second house of finances. So something needs to come to balance because your second house is on fire right now. This is the house for you that is Aries, and this house, let me think for a minute. Wait a minute, that's your first house. No, your second house is Taurus. What did I do? You're the final one, and I am tired. I've been working like nuts for 2 days now. Okay, see, Pisces is your rising sign. Your first house is Aries. Your second house is Taurus. Your third house is Gemini. Your fourth house is Cancer. Yes. So this Aries is happening in your first house. That's what's on fire right now. And that can indeed, that's your personal body, the way you look. That can indeed mean, wait, no, I'm wrong again. All right, just bear with me, please. Don't get mad. I am an astrologer for real. You're like, sure you are. Okay, so your rising sign is your first house, duh. And that can include a little bit of Aries depending on the degree. And I'm getting mixed up because my husband's Pisces is at N degrees. So here we go. So where Aries is in your chart, Pisces, we've got the sun shining here, shining some light on something. And we've got Mercury moving in there. It won't be retrograde after the 15th or 16th or 17th, pardon me. But Chiron is there, the wounded healer. And then we've got Eris, the goddess of chaos there. And so if this bleeds over, it could be your first house or your second house. If you're a late degree Pisces, like my husband is, then it's possible to be there. So we've got a little bit of a fire burning in that area of your life. And unfortunately, we've got Neptune, the god of turbulent waters or peaceful waters or calm waters. King Neptune belongs in the sea. He rules the waters of the world, and now he's in the hot, dry, acrid desert of Aries, and he doesn't like it. And that's why we have a lot of fires now. With the sun being there too, even more, the planet's going to heat up fast. We can expect a pretty warm April. But Neptune there, on a personal level, creates some kind of fog or illusion. And if it's in your first house, it could be you having some issues with inflammation in the body. If it's in your second house, it's your finances. And so we've got to be really mindful of contracts or things that are said with a financial advisor. Double check and triple check, because this area is all lit up for the entire month. If it seeps over into your house of Taurus, that of essential dignity is ruled by Venus. And Venus and Taurus love each other. They get along very, very well, and they're always in harmony to each other. So this can really deepen existing bonds because Venus is all over Pisces, meaning he's being adored, he's being loved, he's being cared for. And having this area either in the house of your finances or communications is where this can land for you, depending on the degree of your rising sign. So you can really, really get close to people this month. Now, on the opposite side of that, in communication, we've got a square to Pluto, and we've got Black Moon Lilith moving into Scorpio. So couples that are Taurus and Scorpio, couples that are Pisces and Taurus, couples that have this Scorpio-Taurus axis involving Venus on one hand and then Black Moon Lilith on the other, have to really choose their words carefully in the month of April, because you can deepen existing bonds by correcting that Black Moon Lilith energy. And that energy is coming from an outside source. And Pisces needs to protect what belongs to him or her. So if it's your lover, your wife, your husband, your partner, Pisces, you better be very, very careful that there's not temptation in the relationship, and that your words are kind and affectionate and loving, or there's somebody out there ready to take away what belongs to you. And when you've got Venus shining all over your life right now, that would be a really bad thing to happen. So you have to be careful of outside influences, and protect your partner, and adore and care for your partner. Deepen those bonds, Pisces. Mars is going to move into Leo. It's been in Cancer and in your fourth house of home, so there's been some conflict and disruption and anger and issues you've been dealing with. And now on the 19th of the month, that leaves your home and goes into your fifth house. This is a lot of creative energy for you in this house, and this can really liven up your love life. And it gives you a lot of energy to go see places, do things, create romance, have a good time. Unfortunately, this access, if you're late, like my husband is born, this energy can go across that sixth house. And that's where the opposition between Pluto comes in. So again, from the 19th on, you really, really have to protect your health. The sixth house is your physical health, your physical body. And the 12th house is mental health, or things that require hospitalizations and you being taken out of your life or timing. And that's real. We can't joke around about the environment that we live in and the things that we breathe, and these contagions that are about and have been quite strongly since 2020. So I want you to take really good care of yourselves, and I hope and pray that you're loved and cherished, and that you can deepen your bonds with your family and friends. And I hope that you have someone to care for and to cuddle up with, should you be experiencing what so many of us have had to go through, losing parents and grandparents and loved ones. It's never easy, and I wish Jesus would just hurry up and come back, have his second coming, so we didn't have to face this death or suffering at the end of life, because it's a lot to cope with. This concludes my forecast for April. I hope you have a very happy Easter, and I thank you so much for listening and sharing my videos, everyone. You take care and guard your health. Be nice and safe, okay, Pisces? Because we need you and we love you. You're sweet and you're sensitive. One of the most compassionate and loving signs in the whole zodiac. And I wish everybody listening a very happy April 2025. Bye for now.